Recording in progress.
Thank you, Phil. 7 o'clock. Good evening, everybody. This is the Peabody Board of Library Trustees monthly meeting. It's April 4th, 7 p.m. This announcement went out, I think the requisite 48 hours, it went out March 31st. So immediately go for that. So the remote participation is allowed in accordance with Section 20A, B, and C, the Acts of 2021, signed into law by Governor Baker on June 16th, 2021, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law C, 30A, Section 18. Alternative public access to this meeting shall be provided in the following manner. The meeting will be televised via Peabody Access Television. Number 2, real-time public comment during this meeting can be addressed to the board of library trustees utilizing the Zoom virtual meeting software for remote access. This application will allow users to view the meeting and make comments or questions to the chair via the audio option. And there's link information and telephone information below how to join in. Sarah may have a call to order. Roll call.
Yes. Peter Bethune.
Here.
Stephanie Teller. Francis Delugy. Don McAllister.
Here.
Stephanie Najar. Here. Kate O'Brien. Thomas Pappas.
Here.
Anne Quinn. Richard Struhan.
Here.
Jennifer Smith.
Here.
Ruth Teitelbaum.
Here.
Katrina Vasallo.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Call the meeting to order. Let's see, agenda. Yes, I'm going to have a motion to,
Second.
okay, 7 minutes to review those. Thank you for the first and second. Okay, any discussion on these minutes? All right, I'll vote to approve the minutes of the motion. In favor? Anybody opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. We're to receive of communication. We have some extra communications here today. Receive this. I'm just going to send this around quickly. This has to do before we can discuss it. So just take a quick look. Then I'll ask for a motion to receive.
Hi. That's also a holiday, isn't it? May 3rd?
Memorial Day
yeah.
parade.
Yeah, so that's a holiday, okay.
I think
And would you like to say?
this is the first time we've been formally invited.
I don't, what is it? To
I
march in
don't think
the.
so.
I don't recall ever getting this letter. from
That may
them.
be true, but I've watched it a couple times, maybe I just went in anyway.
Well, the only parade I remember being in was we were all in that parade there.
That was the centennial parade. Oh.
Not the, yeah, actually, that's the only one we went in, was the one where we followed the, what, like. we've
And
never
we're
been
we're
invited
going to
the
receive
parade.
that, so I'm just passing it around before we do.
I think it's great, but I don't recall ever getting a formal letter.
You know,
I don't
no, it's
remember.
not- I get invited by the veterans and stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I go every year to the cemetery.
And for folks that are online or trustees, I'd like to just do a quick read. I think it'll be appropriate before we put it to vote to proceed. We had some correspondence here from the Peabody Veterans Council, and it's a letter to us trustees. And it's in regards to Memorial Day 2022. The Peabody, dear library trustees, the Peabody Veterans Council respectfully invites all trustees to participate in the annual Memorial Day Parade to be held Monday, 30th May 2022. Assembly for the parade will start approximately 10:30 a.m. at Washington Street and Elms Lane at 11 a.m. And the Memorial Day Parade will start at Washington Street and Elms Lane. The parade route will follow the Washington Street and then left onto Main Street to City Hall. At the conclusion of the parade, there will be a ceremony in front of World War II, World War I, World War II, Korean, and Vietnam monuments on the City Hall lawn. Safety is important along the parade route. There is no disturbing of items, including candy, distributing of items, including candy. Nothing will be thrown to or at or in the direction of spectators or handed to any individuals along the parade route. This year's host organization. I'm sorry, folks, I can't see this. This year's host organization is the Fleet Reserve Association, Branch 31, commanded by LCDR Robert Dunn, U.S. Navy, retired, yes. We look forward to you participating in this important day that honors those veterans who made the supreme sacrifice for their country. If you have any questions, please contact me. So Don, did you hear the letter okay?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Who else is online from the trustees? Okay, can I have a motion to receive this? We can discuss it under new business.
Motion.
Thank you, Katrina. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Stephanie. We'll have a discussion later, but is there any discussion at this point? We voted in. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The motion carries unanimously. Thank you. And this brings us up to the report of our library director.
Good evening, everyone. Director's report, the Board of Library Trustees, April 2022. Staffing, Amory Thomas accepted the position of Senior West Branch Librarian, leaving her former position as Children's and Teen Assistant Librarian, and began at the West Branch today. Amory will be a dedicated and creative West Branch librarian, and we're all excited to see what she brings to West Peabody. Amory is especially excited to bring more vibrancy and interactive aspects to the children's and teen areas, and will be beginning a West Branch Teen Volunteer Program after doubling the main library's existing teen volunteer program. Since our last meeting, 3 additional staff members have resigned. Assistant West Branch Librarian Jillian Parsons has moved on to another job, as has Senior Teen Librarian Joanna Correa. Library aide Jeff Spencer has moved into a full-time position at another library. We wish them all the best of luck and hope to post these 3 positions in the next week. Human Resources assures me that they will be posting our full-time custodian position that has now been vacant for 1 year this week. Due to these staffing changes, much is in flux right now, and I commend and thank library staff for their flexibility and understanding as we strive to fill all vacant positions as quickly as possible. Programming and initiatives. Senior South Branch Librarian Amy Titus and Assistant South Branch Librarian Betsy Reed have started working with the South Memorial Elementary School to register all students for library cards and arrange for classrooms to visit the library during school hours. Over 140 students have signed up for library cards so far. All 3 third grade classrooms visited the South Branch for a tour and to check out books in March. and all 3 kindergarten classes will be visiting in April. The art of Nancy Muni is on display at the South Branch Library from March 5th to May 7th. Nancy creates wreaths and other items with handmade paper roses, and her work is available for purchase, and she is open for commissions as well. Senior West Branch librarian Amory Thomas will be hosting a library card sign-up event at Higgins Middle School later this month. Our most recent foundation-funded spring concert featured local singer and songwriter Karen Grenier, and senior librarian Gabby Toth is still receiving complimentary emails and comments a week later. She is scheduling another date with Ms. Grenier for the fall, and the New England Chamber Players return for an encore performance on April 11th. The year-long community read program centered around the title We Share the Same Sky by Rachel Cerati is in full swing. Upcoming related programs include an in-person reading and signing with Ms. Cerati on April 26th, getting started with genealogy at the South Branch Library on April 28th and May 19th, and Professor Theo Harris will return for a lecture series in May to discuss We Share the Same Sky and Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. Book clubs have returned. The West Branch Fiction Book Club will meet this coming Thursday. The first meeting in over 2 years of the City Hall Employee Book Club and Council on Aging Book Club will take place this and next week, and both will discuss our current community read, We Share the Same Sky, and a new online LGBTQ+ book club in partnership with the Ashland Library will also begin later this month. Budget. I've included a monthly budget for your review. Our supplies line item is nearly spent due to purchasing so many COVID supplies. Any overage will be covered by other line items that are underspent and by state aid. I submitted my proposed FY23 budget to the city last month. In order to reach the MAR, municipal appropriations requirement set by the MBLC for certification, an additional $15,946, or around 1%, needs to be added to our current budget for FY23. I requested that those additional funds be put towards the creation of 2 additional part-time aid positions. I expect to have a meeting with the mayor, finance director, and President Pappas sometime in the next month or so. Policy. The patron who requested the reconsideration of a West Branch children's book accepted my decision to retain the book, and agreement to not highlight the book in any displays, and sent suggestions for other books to fill out the corresponding collection. I apologize for that typo, and the others. Children's staff are looking over these recommendations and will purchase any that meet our collection development policies. Building and grounds. The parking lot lights of the West Branch have been replaced. Additionally, I requested that a light be placed on the light pole at the top of the main library children's parking lot, and it was installed last week. So the lot that was previously unlit is now much safer for patrons and staff after dark. The cost to the library is minimal. After years of seasonal mouse infestations at the main library, I have signed an ongoing contract with the Bain Pest Control Company for mouse and insect control throughout the whole building. The cost is low given the size of the building and will be paid for with our outside services budget. D'Amatos Landscaping performed their spring cleanup and mulching at all 3 buildings last week, and I requested an additional application of mulch at all locations for later this summer. Then, after meeting with the Historical Commission and learning about the Community Preservation Commission that funds projects that preserve open space and historic sites, create affordable housing, and develop outdoor recreational facilities, I believe that broadening the scope of the lighting work I had planned for the courtyard will be in our best interest, given that the CPC has funded previous library projects such as the restoration of the Sutton Room, George Peabody's portrait, and the 3rd floor. In order to truly transform the courtyard into a multi-season programming and meeting space, the lighting must be redesigned at the very least, and I envision a patio and permanent pergola covering for events, in addition to electrical outlets and storage. I reached out to 3 landscape architect consultants who have worked with the city on various projects like the bike path, downtown lighting, and the James Street Eco Campus to see how they might help with this project. And I've requested the application form of the Peabody Community Preservation Commission. This project is in its very beginning stages, and I will come to you as we move forward. I believe that requesting CPA funds is a perfect way to both preserve our grounds and ensure that they're relevant and useful going forward.
Thank you, Kate. Director Merlin. Some questions go around and Daniel next. So some custodian positions been opened up for a year.
It was vacated last April with a retirement, and it was posted internally in August, I believe, and not filled, and now they'll be posting it externally this week.
Okay, so is that progress or is that?
It's progress. Posting it is progress.
Okay.
forward.
What's the reason for that delay of so many months?
The fact that there are like 45, I think it's something like 45 open positions in the city right now that are slowly being posted.
I'm wondering, I hear about, mice. and-
That has nothing to do with custodial staff, honestly. The 1854 Fieldstone Foundation means that there's constantly ways in and out. Normally they come in every fall and leave. Normally we have a couple weeks in the fall where we see them, then they disappear, and then a couple weeks in the spring where they leave. They are not moving this year. I spoke with a pest control company, and they basically say that it's warmer, and so they're getting started earlier in the year, making their little mice friends. And we also have a lot of encampments behind the library as well that are bringing food closer to the library. So they're going to do we'll start with 3 weeks of baits and trap based on the appropriateness of the location for patrons inside and outside the building, and then do and that they're going to come check those weekly for 3 weeks and really do like a full sweep of the building, and then a monthly update and reapplication of everything going forward. So we don't have this problem every fall and spring going forward.
Thank you. So I'm kind of proud of this library because we hang on to our employees and we ask questions of
Yep.
the best in our employees to make them smarter, so they're educated. Classes, graduate degrees and such things. And I see all of a sudden we have 3 people leaving
Yep.
around the same time. This is kind of, is it something I should be shocked about? Because it doesn't seem like it happens.
So if you look at it's twofold. If you look at the MBLC job posting website, which is where all library jobs from aide up to library director are posted, there's a glut of jobs right now. I think the economy in general, a lot of people in the library world retired or left the field during the pandemic, and now just like with the whole economy, there's jobs available everywhere. So there's a lot of moving around at every library. It's not just us, but I do have to say that these staff all left for higher paying jobs. We traditionally do not pay as high. We've had two senior staff leave in the last month, and they were both going to higher paying jobs. And then this assistant librarian that left, she also was going to a higher paying job. So we just traditionally do not pay as high as other surrounding cities, which they were all sad to leave, but I don't blame them going to jobs where they are getting paid significantly more.
Well, it's kind of concerning that if we're going to lose staff to higher paying jobs, there's a glut out there. You're going to find it easier to go someplace
Absolutely.
closer to home. And then we'll have open positions here. It'll be difficult to fill. And I think I always say that this library is about the people, staff it, work in it. Kind of concerned that we're seeing this trend. Is there anything that can help stop that?
Money. So the way all the staff here, other than assistant director and Hayden and myself, are members of the union. It's shared with it's the same union as the teachers are part of. I know the teachers who have 13 steps or something. Is that correct, Stephanie? 13 pay steps, and we have 4. So that means our staff, even if the staff with master's degrees, are topped out after 4 years, and then they just learn the cost of living raise every year. It's not a lot. And if you look at other libraries, like where this staff went to, and other libraries that post full-time positions around here, we're just not keeping up. So I know that there are negotiations starting soon, probably for the summer, for our part of the union. And that 4th step was only added like 2 years ago. So it used to be just 3 steps. So at that point, staff topped out after a year and a half. And I think now they have 2 years before that's how much they're going to make forever. So it's money.
All right. Ann is next. Thank you.
Well, I was going to address the custodian question, but then also this business of the salaries for staff, such. How does that tie into the whole budget proposal for 2023?
So the staff, I have no control over the salaries because it is all union based. That is all negotiated between the union and the city. I have very little control other than when it comes to union negotiations. But when staff start here, there's no negotiation. It's not like starting in a private company where staff can negotiate, starting on a higher pay grade or bonuses or anything like that. Kind of with the union payout set up, you get what you get. That is the union that you're signing on to. But when it comes to that 4 steps, I don't have any control over that. I'm asking for 2 additional aides because we need the bodies, we need the people to staff all 3 of our locations and to keep, we still are down a couple of positions from way before the pandemic. We've had positions that have disappeared over the years. So this is still trying to get us up to where we were pre-pandemic. And aides are our most valuable resource. They are for the city cheap because they don't, they don't have paid time off, unfortunately, and they don't have any benefits. But for us, they offer the flexibility for us to do the good stuff behind the scenes because they are willing to pick up extra shifts and be the frontline staff so the rest of us can do good stuff behind the scenes. And without them, we can't really do much. So we do need more aides. I would love to be able to offer my staff more, but again, I'm limited as to union negotiations and the contract and everything. So.
All set in, or do you?
Well, my other question related to the budget had to do with purchasing all these COVID supplies.
Yep.
And why, since that was a kind of a city imposed
Yeah. So
restriction.
a lot of these were reimbursed through the federal programs that reimburse for the city. And then some of the stuff has been purchased afterwards. Like we are still purchasing, we're still going through a couple hundred masks every week, patrons taking them as they come in the building. And that's just something I've decided to put in my budget going forward because people are taking them and wearing them. And then some of the stuff was above and beyond. Also, we've had, these buildings have not really been taken care of over the past couple of years. So like chairs are falling apart and some of that stuff too. Chairs are falling apart and desks are falling apart and there's no chair wheel on that chair. Oh, it's been like that for years. So, well, you don't have to live like that. So a lot of this supplies budget has also been purchasing things kind of smaller capital investments. But all the COVID related stuff is things that hopefully were one-time purchases, like the hand sanitizer stands and signage and stuff like that. That won't happen next year. But I didn't ask for any decrease in my supplies budget for next year. I asked for the same amount of money because we'll spend it on supplies for patrons and paper and book processing materials. So.
Kate, do you think you have a hard time filling these positions in a timely manner?
These, no, I think these are going to be internal, moving around. And then when those, so I think that the assistant West Branch librarian and senior teen librarian are going to be internal shifts.
Mhm.
And then when those 2 people's positions are open, then it becomes, those will probably be internal hiring out of our aid pool. I anticipate that the one senior position will become open because she will be moving to another department. And then that one will be hiring in certainly. And I don't know how long that's going to take to hire because I know that it's a job market that I've never seen before for libraries. Usually there's nothing available. And now there's tons of stuff available at all levels that require master's degrees or not, which is exciting for people, but also sad.
I'm sorry, I have another question on your West Branch. Remember
Yeah.
that there was a whole renovation process going on, especially in the children.
Yeah, and that all paused because of
That all
COVID.
paused.
Yeah.
So is there going to be a backup?
Well, that's for us to discuss with the foundation because that was all foundation funds.
Okay.
And none of that money,
We started it and then this all happened.
Yeah.
And I couldn't recall it.
and none of that money was ever spent. We had a bunch of purchase orders that were starting and I canceled all them because the world was exploding. So that
Where's that money now then? It's
the
just
foundation's coffers. No, it hasn't been spent at all.
Foundation goes. Okay, good.
Yeah, it hasn't been
All
spent at all.
foundation. Okay,
Yeah.
great. I wasn't sure if there was, I just couldn't remember where
And none of the money, basically all the orders were canceled.
right.
And it's actually, I think, a good thing because now that we have Amory in there, and I think she's been permanent in there for a long time, she is very much a children's and teen librarian going into this position that serves all ages, so has a lot of plans, especially for those younger areas. So I think it's a good thing that she gets to kind of start from scratch.
Right.
So.
Any other questions?
I have a question on the South Branch Library and having the students.
Yeah.
Join. I think that's awesome. I'm very excited to just hear that, but I was also wondering if that's going to happen across elementary schools or if that was just because the South Branch and the South are like right next to each
So
other.
basically it's proximity right now, because they don't have, from what I understand, the South Elementary School doesn't have a library, or they don't have a librarian or something. So they're basically using the South Branch as their library. And that is fully a credit to senior librarian Titus. She's remarkable. And she also is a children's and teen librarian running a branch right now, which we're really lucky to have youth services focused people at all of our locations now, which is, I don't think it's ever happened before. So that's very exciting. That's been all in her because of the proximity, because they can walk. We haven't moved forward. We've done like the normal visits for other elementary schools, but nothing this larger in scheme, and it'd be great if it did happen.
Yeah.
But I don't know of anything in the works at the moment.
Brown School used to always walk up to the South Branch as well.
Okay. I'm sorry?
The Brown School.
The Brown School, okay.
Always walked up to South Branch. Both my kids got library cards that way.
I'll reach out, I'll ask Amy.
Because they're right there.
Slightly further than south, but it's
Good
still
little-
walkable.
good little walk. It's really nice thing.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Director?
Tom, I want to just through the chair to Kate. Kate, I understand that you have no control over the funds. And that's a union thing which will have to be taken care of by them. But I'm assuming that it was a little easier in some ways as far as staffing during the heavier times of the pandemic because less people were coming to the library. As time's going on now, I'm assuming you're seeing more and more people. So this is going to present, I would assume, a greater problem as time goes on. And I have no doubt about the quality of the staff and their ability, but I don't know how much they'll be able to do and to staff adequately. And if some other funding isn't forthcoming through negotiations, would you be considering any reduction in hours at library or at the libraries or at the branches?
No,
I'm wondering, eventually this has got to catch up. You know, a lack of funding, a lack of staff and more people.
yeah, and the way our staffing works now is there is a little bit of a buffer at all times because there are people with every level of staff. So there are aides and then there are assistants and then librarians and then senior librarians. And the way our staffing works now, which is unique from times before because it didn't used to be like that, but under Assistant Director Hayden and myself, all of the senior librarians work like, for example, 3 on-desk shifts per week and the rest are off-desk. And all librarians work the same amount of on-desk shifts and the rest are off-desk with the understanding that everybody has off-desk things to do and on-desk things. What it means right now is that people are losing their off-desk shifts. So they're able to do the work still, but they're more distracted because they're used to spending 4 hours every week doing collection development and buying all the books for a second. But now they're bringing all that stuff to a desk with them and trying to help patrons at the same time. And it all still gets done. It's just slower and staff is less able to really focus and concentrate because they are helping patrons. But of course, I mean, none of what we do is worth it if we can't help the patrons in front of us. So I'm asking people to do a lot of kind of reshuffling their workflows and readjusting things and looking at their weeks and try to plan things knowing that they're not going to be off desk as much as they used to be. I'm hoping this gets fixed really quickly. I think that these 3 positions, we already have been hiring for another aide position that was vacated a month or so ago, and we have really great applicants. So I think that the second aide position, my guess is we'll fill the current vacant position, this one that will be vacant within a week or so. And same with the other 2 positions as there are going to be shifts. But I've never seen it in flux quite like this before, but we'll get through it. And it just means the behind the stuff things will just take a little bit longer.
Anything else, Dawn?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
All right, do I have a motion to receive the director's report?
So moved.
And thank you. And discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Okay, report subcommittees. Audicon, Kate O'Brien. Present. Okay, Historical Society, Anne.
Well, I'm sorry, I missed the meeting last week. I showed up at 7:30, ready to go. And the meeting was over. Anyway, the Historical Society hosted Catherine Bedell at one of our volunteer committee sessions some Wednesdays ago as a way of getting us together. And she was delighted to come over and she saw what's going on, what the volunteers are doing and the exhibits. And we had her with our, and that's one of the things the volunteers do. Is we finish our work and then we have tea, which is very civilized. And since then, Catherine and Nora Bigelow, who is also now has been named the director of the Historical Society. They've had communication, and each is exploring what the other have in a way of exchanging information in a way that I think was not happening before. So that's a very positive thing. Historical Society. So happy about that. And I would like to send out the information that I get. Historical Society, but I still don't have the email list.
Yes, I have the contact sheet, but I left off a couple email addresses. So I will send that to everybody tomorrow. When I send out the notice of meeting that has all our emails on it, you
Well,
can
that's
reply to that, yeah. But I'll send out the PDF of the contact. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Historical Society is planning an event related to the Patriots Day, April 17th event. There will be a muster of sorts around the monument. And then at the Historical Society, in one of the houses, there'll be coffee and pastries for people who are participating. Yeah, so that's going well.
Yes.
That's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Ann. All right, and then Friends Foundation stuff.
We met 2 weeks ago. The foundation, it wasn't a formal meeting, it was basically an events meeting. And there were some dates, if you would all like to jot down some dates that we came to, some things that will be upcoming. The most recent thing to head our way is May 14th, Saturday. We're going to do the Geranium plant sale again, like we did last year, which was very successful. We sold all our geranium, so that was exciting. And I think we're going to buy more because it was a well-received event. The International Festival, just so you all know, is September 11th. And the rain date is the 18th. And we were talking about, the library always has some sort of a table. The Friends used to be involved with it, as well as the foundation and the trustees. And it was kind of just, everyone pitched in to represent the library and also to sell pies and just have a presence at the festival. So we discussed that again, and we will probably move ahead and have a table again. This coming September 28th is a Wednesday evening. We made the decision to go ahead and book the Smith Barn and move forward with Starry Night.
What date was that?
Wednesday, September 28th. So that's exciting. We chose the end of September versus the beginning of October. We just thought, coming off of summer, with the possibility of COVID ever rears its ugly head again, and we have to consider things. I think the earlier coming off of summer, the more likely it would happen. Don't have to worry. So there was a lot of discussion about just approaching restaurants and just how we're going to go about doing it. But for the most part, it's still going to be generally what we're used to doing, because people liked it. There'll be some tweaks with serving food and who we go after and solicit. Overall, I think everyone is welcome with the idea of kind of getting back to what we used to do and have the events. And then projecting into 2023, we are shooting for the date of April 28th, 2023, a year from now, to do our birds and bubbly event. So that's what we're looking at, projecting into the future to make that. That's going to take a little effort, so it's not something we can throw together and have it in a few months. So with everything considered, with the art shows and other events that happen throughout the year, we figured that would be a good time to have it. And it's a nice springtime kind of thing with birds returning to New England in the spring and all that good stuff. So that's pretty much it for the foundation. We did plan, I'm sorry, I don't have that. our next meeting, foundation meeting is, I'm sorry. bear with me. April 26th, Tuesday at 5:30 is our next foundation quarterly meeting. And that'll round things up.
Stephanie? Building and grounds, Rich.
Nothing besides the director's report.
Personnel committee, Don. Don McAllister,
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the question, but
personnel committee report.
nothing to report other than the directors.
Okay, thank you. And Katrina, policies and procedures.
Nothing new to report.
I have a motion to receive the committee reports.
Motion.
Rich, second.
Second.
Any discussions? Discussions, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries unanimously. So this brings us up to unfinished business or continuing conversations that.
Yeah.
First evening, that also, Stephanie, can you please talk about?
Sure,
your
sure.
work?
Sorry, I was not able to come last month.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but you had sent me an email last month, and I thought it would have been better if we were in person to discuss, because I wouldn't be able to field
Fine.
any questions.
Well, considering it's April, I'm sure you can guess that there's, it's not timing, there's just no way they're gonna create and have a medal ready for this year's George Peabody Medal recipients. The woman, it was just a slow, it took her a lot of time, the woman from Johnston, because we do like working with them because we're having a hard time finding someone that can actually make a unique product that's easy to, easy to work with and have communication with. So they're willing to do anything we want. We originally went to them with some of our original requests, the quality of the metal and all of that. The pricing came back and it's exorbitant, and we can't go down that route of these, 14, 10 karat gold items. It's out of our price range. So it's just it's something to repeat itself year after year. It's not feasible. So we're going back to the drawing table, which is fine because you kind of learn as you go. And Steve Magno, the principal, is getting information from the city because they're the ones that are keeping that donation that was made by the family, the Rappaport family. But we're supposed to only be working off the interest from that, and we need to see, we need a general number so we know what our budget is, because without that, it's a little bit difficult. But we want to definitely have the new product for next year's recipients. So that's to be continued. And I'll stay in the loop and show you guys samples and when we get to that point. But leading into it, well, first of all, do you have any questions about the actual metal itself and what
Just
we're doing?
a quick note that those of us who were cleaning up after the art show, I forget who discovered this, but underneath the Queen downstairs in the vault, there's all those gold awards that George got.
There's a what?
Underneath the Queen in the vault, there's all those gold awards that
Oh,
George
yeah.
got. And in there is a George Peabody medal that may have been like an original one,
Oh,
like one of the first.
do you know what? I'll have to go out.
You can see it. It's on the right. It's on the right.
Go take a picture. Because we were talking about the one of our teachers at Higgins brought his in, and it's small. And we want it to be a little beefier than what that one is. And I think I told you, they're leaning towards doing just the nice ribbons. You just put it over their head up and down. And it's tricky. It's hard to wear. So we really would like to move forward with a traditional around the neck medal, which you kind of want it to be at least a couple inches to have it show. So we're leaning more towards that bigger size, not
Look,
the little point size.
When you leave, I want to say how big.
Yeah, that's what
it
I'm curious
was.
to see.
That big-ish. I would say, look at
I
it downstairs.
attached pictures to that email, and I'm going to bring copies next time when we actually can discuss what we like. But they were just great examples of something like that. I know it's hard to see, but just like his head, basically, and just commemorating him and who he was, because it's all about him. So I like both of these. So that's kind of where we're leaning towards, and just putting something simple on the front, and then the back we're going to have engraved. We'll engrave them each year with your recipient's name, sorry, and the year that they graduated.
Yeah, name and.
Yes, yes. So that's kind of how it's working right now.
Definitely send the pipe for building.
Yeah,
So the
so for
goal-
example.
What
okay,
was the metal made of before?
It's not, wasn't a precious metal or anything like that. For example, a 1.5-inch round 14-karat gold would cost $3,800 per medal. A 10-karat gold medal would cost $2,500 each. So we give out 8 a year. That's just really pricey.
Why are we going with gold?
Well, we're not. I think we just needed
Why
to.
do we even talk about it?
Well, we want a gold looking medal. I think everyone felt that that was more traditional to what was given out even in years past.
Okay.
I think it harkens back to just the traditional look. So we can go with a bronze look, or you can do something plated with a, just that look on top and not be solid anything. Just the quality. But I think we're just looking for that happy medium of something that has
Okay.
quality to it and a nice look. Because I think silver is more like a coin. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I just feel like gold, everything you see is gold. When you look back at some of the original things that are back in the day, so. that's nice to do. Oh, downstairs. Yeah, great, okay. Yeah, I'll take a picture too, thank you.
Anything else? Any other questions?
I have a question. So there's a fund with from the Rappaport family. And then I see a fund on the Library Trust and Grants Fund, the high school medal. Is this the same? Are these the same?
I don't think so, are they? Because the George Peabody, sorry, where is it?
There are a lot of these trusts that I honestly don't know what they are. They've been around forever, and I haven't dipped into figuring out what all of these are. I just look at the numbers every month. And I have no idea what that trust is, but I can definitely do some research and talk to my gatekeeper and figure out. the
You
history
do.
of
So
that.
is that how it was paid
Yeah,
for previously?
So there's only
I have no idea.
$896 available to us, but we can't touch the principal. So $896, I know, Kate, we used to split the bill with the high school.
Is that what we split it from?
That's what I'm thinking.
Possibly. Yeah.
I don't know, you have to check on that and see what's expended out of that budget line, but
How many do we need?
8 a
Okay,
year.
that's what I thought. I just
Yeah.
wanted to. So basically, you're stuck to like $100 a piece.
Well,
unless you can
I don't
split
know,
it.
I mean, maybe it does have another spot it comes from, I don't know. From our end, library side, I don't know where the money comes from to go in halves with the high school, I don't know where that's paid from, for sure.
Okay.
Sounds like progress.
Yeah.
What is the event this year?
So let's, can we spring right into that since we're talking about the high school?
Please.
Yeah, so convocation. So in the past, because of COVID, we did the pinning, you did the pinning during convocation, correct? Not during graduation. So traditionally, we always pinned up on the podium, up on the stage at graduation was the pin. So that everybody could hear, because when you go to convocation, there's about barely 100 kids that go to convocation, right, and their families. So the whole class, it's not something that's done in front of the whole class. If the high school has a real strong opinion about how they want to do it, I mean, I don't think it's worth a battle with the high school over it. I think if the principal has a certain idea, then that's fine. But it kind of gets us off the hook in one regard from having to attend graduation, because it's always a lot. It's a big commitment to go to graduation and give you a quick little speech and then pin 8 people on stage. It's a little event in itself. But so we have to pin that down. I know convocation is June 2nd this year. It's a Tuesday night, I believe, and that's when they're hosting their convocation. So I have an email to Steve Magno. I haven't heard back. And I also have an email to John Simmons, because we do want to go back to our traditional service here. When we do the GP medal ceremony here, with just the families and private for outcomes. So that's usually the night. It's a Wednesday night. It's a Wednesday or Thursday night. And it's a spring concert. So I think it's a Wednesday.
I spoke with him at the the art show, that seems like forever ago, the art show here,
Yeah, okay.
or before that, in passing, and he said basically like, it's always such a crazy mad rush to get kids across the
Okay.
city. They'd be open on the Corrals side, doing it another night, so it actually
Oh, that's fine.
wouldn't be such a mad dash
That's
across
fine.
the city.
I haven't had a chance to, I emailed him, but I haven't had
Okay.
an actual conversation. Stephanie Dowling today said she didn't know the date on the calendar yet for spring concert. So I shot him an email, so I'm sure we'll chat tomorrow and I was gonna offer that. I said, look, it doesn't have to be the spring.
Right.
They've always just done that traditionally, and why they run themselves so
Right,
in one time,
Yeah.
because they literally fly in and fly out. But it's all good. I'm sure it'll all work out. Okay, so that's that. So we'll have an update at our next meeting, which is May, the beginning of May. Yeah, so it'll be before it all happens, and we'll have a date.
We're
For that.
also got to send letters out. to our representatives.
Yeah, as soon as we know when we're having our little service. So we can actually pick a day other than, I just want to know when it's spring concert. She doesn't know which week. So we could pick the other week. And do you have any commitments Wednesday nights right now on the calendar with using this room?
normally our concerts are on Monday nights.
Okay, right. Oh, I can loop you in on the next, when we talk about a date, we can just confirm it and let everybody know. It's gonna come quick. And Jennifer Smith, I might add, her son is number 3 in the Peabody senior class this year. So unfortunately, he misses the new medal. But I'm sure you're proud nonetheless. It's a wonderful thing. Probably, no, it's gonna be sooner than that. I don't know. It depends. It really does depend. It might be the end of May. I don't know. It's usually May, I think. They have a spring concert in May.
Yeah,
Yeah, right?
because the seniors are done.
Yeah. Although they're going really late this year, the seniors.
Somebody's last day of class.
Okay.
They've got the convocation, graduation, fourth.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, so it's gonna be May. Yeah, I'm sure it's Mayish. Mid to end of May.
Stephanie, through the chair, I just wanted to bring up something to remind people, and some people, most of you who weren't here at that time. Not the service, but when we had the students coming and have a little concept on the afternoon that we had right in the Sutton room. That was because the medals really had gotten pushed to the side at the graduation. So we tried to make a big thing of it here. That's really the only time. So I think it does bear, some discussion, but it was, I've always found anyway, that the service that we would have at the library in the Sutton room meant more to the families and the kids than the actual at the graduation. I'm not saying it should be taken away, but it could be very quickly done at the graduation and maybe a little bit more here. There always has been some rush for them to get back to the school for some other thing, and maybe we can work on that. But I was just wanted to bring up the fact that program that we had at the Sutton room for the kids was really something important for them. I'd like to see that stay for them.
Oh, definitely. I said that in my email, how we're so excited to continue, coming back to the Sutton room, and I was gushing about it, because it's like,
Yes.
I think favorite thing, the administrators love it, the school committee loves it, the elected officials at the state level, like Joan Love, everybody comes, because it's so intimate, and it's special, and I think it's definitely something we'll carry on forever, hopefully. So I agree.
Thank you.
Anyone else for Stephanie? Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Any other unfinished business? Okay, new business. So earlier we accepted this letter. So this is about, I read it earlier too for Don online and everybody else. So I think this is a good idea. If can you just go around the table, starting with Pam and your thoughts about this? a Memorial Day parade?
Well, I think it's important for the trustees to have more visibility of their community, and this is an opportunity. We marched in the big centennial parade. And we did that, and we had a float. This is quite a symbol, but I'm just wondering about whether we can physically handle marching, although it's not that far, isn't it? It's like
No, it's not.
Ellen's Lane down to City
It's
Hall.
just up Washington and down to
Washington
City
and
Hall.
down to
It's
City
pretty
Hall.
short. You walk pretty slowly.
I think it would be really nice to do that. Would we need to do a banner or something to announce who we are?
I would think that would be a good idea, otherwise we'll just look like.
Don't we have any idea where, and our little signs are so small, they wouldn't know who we were.
Right.
So you're not, there's nobody, just random people coming into the parade.
Well, I understand, but my point is,
Identification.
it would be good to identify who we are, so people see us and say those are trustees.
Well, you can wear name tags. But if
No
you
one
want to do
else.
a banner.
That's
Well,
the
Can't
kids,
see name tags from a distance.
Yeah, if you're not 10 feet away, you can't read it.
I mean, it would be nice to have some type of a banner. I don't think we have any kind of a banner. Is there any banner left over from the float parade?
Yeah, but it says 100th anniversary. That's not-
Okay.
Right.
All right,
We
so.
have a more modern one of that that we use.
Here's that one, but we can't use that.
What if we can make a cheapy version of that?
What about through the room downstairs,
I think it would, well, we can have something much more clear, like, the extra library, obviously, board of trustees, or something we could just have.
Yeah, I mean,
that-
I'm sure you can get like, like all those websites that we use to share
Yeah.
teachers and everything will make a banner and then.
Yeah.
I would suggest making something vague that just says like Peabody Institute Library on it, so
Yeah.
it can be used for all different things.
Different things, right?
Yeah.
Does anybody want to look into that and see, because if we're gonna do it, I mean, Memorial Day is it's less than 2 months away, so if we're gonna have a banner made, we'd have to do it quickly.
Let's go around the table here. and
Sure. Sorry.
Peter?
So I was thinking the same thing Ann was about visibility. So people have to know who we are. It was identifying us. Because we are kind of like a dual body in the city. So I think people need to know who we are.
Thank you. Rich?
I'm gonna be there no matter what.
Hmm.
I've already been invited by other organizations. Are we gonna be the only one with the banner? Because I'm not everybody else. Like the school committee.
Yeah, most elected officials just walk,
Yeah.
in my experience,
Yeah.
Well, they're more,
visible.
it's true, but there are people, when you see.
I'm not against the idea of a banner. I'm just
Right.
thinking in terms of like, I don't think I've
I
ever
get- I
seen a
get it,
school
I know.
committee
I
or
know
a
that's something
city council banner.
That's also where-
Unless there is there like a main banner that just says elected officials or like city
I don't know.
municipal?
never seen it.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time.
Carol asked
What
her.
about the electric light commission? I mean, I think we are more analogous to them than say schools or something. I don't know what they do.
Just walk.
I mean, if everyone else is just walking, I'm happy to just walk too.
I know, but otherwise we're just people. But
Yeah.
it could be anybody. We could be.
I know, because they all look at you from the side. Other than your ward counselor, your school committee.
Right, right.
No one, I mean, other than who knows me personally, that's it. They're not gonna
Right.
recognize.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
I think it's a good idea myself, for us to march and take part. It's nice to have the Veterans Council think of us. So somebody's thinking about us, somebody wants us to be involved. And I think it would be an honor to take part in this. I think it would be a very good idea. Stephanie?
Yeah, I'm not a huge parade girl. I would want.
It's a great idea. Personally, my kids are in the band, so I just want to watch them.
Oh, right, yes.
Maybe we can figure out a way to.
There's a way to do both.
I'd be game for it. Maybe we could be I'll dress up as a library card.
I was thinking we could all fold, we could take a folder and like fold it and it just says peaks that says like just simply like Peabody Library or something that looks like a book or folder that would have,
Yeah,
or I know
yeah.
Sash is pointing, or just something,
Some
or
sort of
something bigger.
identifier.
Or we could all be fun and just get t-shirts and
Yeah.
have t-shirts made and we can all have a t-shirt, throw it on. I mean, if it's cold and rainy out, obviously you won't see it, but it's something fun to think about. We could just have a quick t-shirt made. Everybody can pay $10 if they want their t-shirt. We could just have it
Right.
made. So that's just a thought.
So
So no banner, but you kind of get the message out there anyway.
Let's find out what others are doing to and how they're going to organize it. So,
Yeah.
right. Katrina, thoughts?
Yes, I'm in favor of being there and having a presence, and I'm game for whatever you come up with as a group.
Okay, thank you. Dawn,
Yeah, I've been through a number of these, and as I recall, there were no real big banners. The people from the city council would start out, and then the school committee, but by the end, people were all kind of mingled, just going on the end, but they were all elected officials.
You can also hold a kind of like a lawn sign kind of thing. Like a single
Standard bearer.
just, you know, like whoever's on the end, you just hold, you know, we could, there's a lot of ideas we could do, but I wouldn't mind having a little organized that way, so we look well together.
I mean, because otherwise people who are on the sidewalk will look at those people.
But most of the adults who vote, at least they, when you come to the ballot, you see that there's a section. So at least they have an idea of, oh, those are those people on the,
Yeah.
see every year on the ballot.
so are we all in favor of doing this? It sounds like we are.
Yes.
We need to take a vote on this.
What's the date?
The date is the 30th of May, Monday.
Memorial Day.
Day.
Yeah, right.
All right, so I should give Bob another call. Talk with him, find out what the details, what we need to do, how do we prepare for this? Do we need a banner? Do we not need a banner? Are we with a group of people? Are we by ourselves? Are we in things like that? So I'll make a phone call. Good, thank you. Oh, one other thing too. I got a crazy idea that was, I think, putting our library director and assistant director to work, holding a banner up in the front of us, but
I'm actually not around on Memorial Day, so I'm out.
I know.
You're like, I have just booked my vacation, so sorry.
I didn't want you to feel unincluded here. You're always, it's be nice. to have you there.
Doesn't Nora want to walk in the parade?
She would love it.
She would love it.
Star of the parade. No. I'm actually out of town then, unfortunately.
Would you mind? Board members missing tonight?
Yeah.
Just let us know that we, all as a group, whoever is able to join, we'll be excited. Walk in the parade this year. I mean, if it's downpouring and really miserable, I'm sorry, I don't know if I can deal with that. I mean, it's just sometimes it's really stormy.
Or excessive heat.
Yeah, I mean, it's depending, you know, as long as it's, I don't mind drizzle because you can walk with an umbrella or whatever, but if it's really, really bad weather, I'm sure they cancel it anyway, right? If it was really bad, I don't know if they
Yeah.
have it when it's bad. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for that discussion. That was new business. Anything else for new business? I don't think there's anything either for any votes or anything like that you're asking. Okay, right? So resolution. All right, any matter suggested by a trustee of the library director prior to the issuance of the notice and agenda? Got none. And any matter suggested by any person in writing to the library director prior to the issuance of the notice of agenda of the meeting containing a title and description of the agenda item. None of that was received. So at this point, our next meeting, Kate, do you have the calendar?
Second, second.
May.
May 2nd. So the next meeting is May 2nd.
Yep.
throw an idea out there before we close?
You just caught us. It's good.
Just think about it. We don't have to discuss it tonight, just an idea about changing the time of this meeting. Anyone's,
My thoughts on that. It's that it used to be at 7:30 and Fran, as one of her first actions on the trust board here was to change it to 7. And it made a big difference. And I think that it might be difficult for some of us working to get here, but why don't we have a quick discussion? Because I think it's an idea that should- Oh, yeah.
I have no.
Here,
Yeah, that's okay with me.
Rich,
Okay with me.
me, I could go either way, but sometimes I have late nights. But I can go either way. Stephanie, you like it? Jen? Who?
I like the 7, but I could do the 6:30 most.
Tina?
Likewise, I could do like 6 or 6:30, but not much earlier.
Did anybody do earlier than
what
6:30?
about Kate? How?
I'm just here. I'm here all day, yeah.
Earlier than 6:30? It doesn't sound like jumping with that.
No.
So, and Don, you're okay with any time change?
That's fine.
And then Kate, is this even a possibility? We should have started with you.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, earlier the better for me because I just stay for a long day, so
okay.
no offense.
Do we
But-
want to try, something different for next meeting and call it at 6:30?
3 people are here. Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
here.
If we have a vote,
We have to vote on it.
right, if we have enough here to vote on it. Snooze, you lose.
Well, I'm trying to think, it's Kate, Stephanie, and
Fran.
Fran.
Right.
And
All right. So maybe we
I don't
can
know if any of them
have an email vote. Maybe we should do that. So my the correspondence, I'll have an email.
I know that it would match them.
It worked for Fran, because I think the zoning board meetings start at 7. It seems like those overlap every now and then, so
Yeah,
she might be able to
because
like
she
attend.
can't.
Yeah,
You mean her zoning board?
Yeah.
Yeah, and those start at what time did you say?
I think 7. I think they're the exact same time as.
Yeah, so she's either here or she's not.
Yeah,
don't
I
know
guess
the
she
half
would.
hour matter.
Yeah, true.
So when we do an email vote, I'm going to ask for somebody to make a motion. Yeah. And we'll get a second from somebody, and we'll get a vote, and then.
Oh,
Sarah,
okay.
how about you, 6:30? Fine with that too.
That was a good point.
So, okay, we'll try that. We'll put it out to an email vote, and we'll ratify the next meeting when we meet. 6:30 official, if the motion passes. Okay, at this point in time, if there isn't anything else from anybody, I'd ask for motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So
Thank you,
moved.
Pam. Secondary. Any discussion? Okay, it's 8:03. And all in favor? Any opposed? The ayes have the motion carries unanimously. Thank you, everyone.
Stephanie, I just thought of something.